Hello. Hello. Welcome back to the stream. I'm Jun Chan, and I had my audio turned off, as happens sometimes. And then OBS crashed when I switched to using audio. But now I think it's back, and that means we're starting the stream from the beginning, which is not necessarily such a bad thing. So let's just go for it. All right. We are live, and we have our log open. So let's just start by duplicating if we can. Apparently we can't. Don't know why. I see. Well, it's not good. Is it? Can we do new folder? 2021 06 what? Ah, okay. Yeah, we have problems with writing. Touch test. We have touch touch. Okay. Seems to have worked finally. Okay. So let's copy the log. Okay, it looks like maybe I needed to somehow unblock this, flush the cache maybe. So we're back to the Purescript prototype, which is what we're going to work on today. So let's see if we can spago actually npm start, I think, is what we settled on. And then we'll also need to actually go back into there, and then also npm run hs, I believe. I mean, we don't really care about this right now because we haven't really connected the backend, but parcel should work. And then also, I think we're expecting here browser kernel fault to also build properly. Main. And right now, what we have is only basically a stripped down version of the original Purescript React Explorer code. And we're going to incrementally plug in text editor and kernel fault backend onto it. That is if this whole kernel fault thing starts up. I think it starts on port 2000, but right now it's not starting. Could it be the disk that's okay? Apparently that took a while. And this is also taking a while. Ah, there we go. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and it's still building. So let's make sure we have this button, and then we'll start porting things. And we should have things written more or less already in the correct style, I think. Let's take a look at it. Right, we have editor here. Yeah, except that was for SDOM, I think, which is, yeah, SDOM. But I think it's not so far from that code where we want. Okay, it's built. And indeed, we have state incrementing. Okay, yeah, so I think this is what we want to start from, more or less. So let's copy that and see what it would look like if we adapt things. So first of all, instead of E, which was what? E was SDOM elements. Okay, so that's for us is going to be, I think, React DOM. So let's open up the docs, the pursuit docs for React DOM. All right, React DOM. And is it props, maybe not. No, that's it. So we'll want H1s, and it's just going to be H1, and either taking children element or props. And here I think this is equivalent to H1 prime. So let's do that. And so we're also putting everything in a div. Here we call this H1 prime, and we put a text in it that will say chronofold. And we don't show anything, so it should be like so. And then we have a div in there which will take attributes this time. So let's actually paste the attributes and see where that gets us. I think those are props, right? In the Purescript React DOM universe. So yeah, array of props. So let's go check out the props. Put another window, and well, class name we have, and this takes a string or a string and return props. So clearly we don't need to do this thing here. And then attr, I suppose that's an escapes hatch, which we don't have, or maybe it's just called props. Maybe unsafe make props. But before we do that, let's check with whether we have width, and we do. So let's just use width, and I suppose it's d dots. Oh, is it? Props are p, so it's p dot class name and p dot width, and that takes a string. So it shall be 400. And I suppose height is going to be there as well. It is. It also takes a string. So p dot height and 400, and then tab index is also right here, and it's p dot with a capital I and 0. Just so that it's focused at startup. And then for dynamic things, we do have on click, and that takes something that takes that takes a callback of something that takes a synthetic mouse event and returns a effect unit, and that would be the prop. So, well, given that that's pure unit, that's going to be correct for us, I think, and so we can probably keep that that monadic action for now. And then a text underneath. Not sure anymore where that would fit for us. I think we just get rid of it because we have a div with props, and then, oh, right, so now this div is on click. Yeah, so maybe that's not what we want. Right, instead we want a key up. So, okay, so that would be on key up, I suppose, or key on key up, yes. So p on key up. And I suppose then that's just another prop, so we don't need to separate it here. I suppose it's better. And however, yeah, no, that should be fine. Yeah. And that's going to make the counter go up. So for now, we are going to show count. This way we'll see that on key up is going to do the right thing, and then we'll put some text in there, but that's going to be probably static text for now. And then that will be closing div, and then text will be p.text, oh no, d.text, and right, so here we have a function. I don't think we can do that here, right? Text is Um, okay, it's not a problem. That's the problem. It's here. So yeah, it takes a string. So in our case, how do we do dynamic text? I suppose we pass a dynamic string. I mean, is that right? Mm. I mean, yeah, it is right because that's what we do up there. Okay. So for now, we shall say blah. And then this compiles, but with an error, matching string with text. Okay, so apparently tab index is an int. And there we go. We only have now warnings. So let's go check this out and blah. And for 0. And if I do key up, I'm actually incrementing the counter correctly. Okay, so chronofold prototype. And then this should be editor. Okay, so things are wired to a certain extent. Yeah, we were trying to do something with online offline, but right now we're not going to care about that. What do we want to try now? We want to wire up, key up to something a little bit similar to what we had here. Here we had like this write action. So the write action, that was part of, I think, right, that was part of this action type. So let's grab that because we probably want something a little bit like that. In our case, we have move right, which is the co. And then the interpreter does its thing. So in the Purescript React Explorer, in the original formulation, possibly we start with the interpreter, which would be something like interpreter right, that's interpreter. I think I expanded on the style here, didn't I? Or maybe in counter. Yeah, here. Right, the interpreter. Actually, maybe that's a simpler. We start with the counter interpreter and try to make it work like that. Except this is for the new formulation. So I think my bet is this has, right, increment and a change count. So it has two actions. So I think my bet was something like, if this is the co-monad, or at least the base function for the co-monad. So co-free of counter interpreter would be the co-monad. So let's double check that that's what's happening in our test. Co-free of counter interpreter. Co-free of counter interpreter would be counter space. That would be the co-monad. So let's get ourselves that. And so basically a component of counter space here is, I think, what we want. So meaning really, this is a counter, and here we explore the counter, and we go and give it a shot. Let's just say component of counter space here, and covariance is also counter space here, and this is also counter space. And now now. So now is move right the problem? So move right. Maybe we want to ignore move right for now. Send, we probably want to, right. We probably want to ask what the type of this should be. Coffee identity with the coffee counter interpreter. So who is providing coffee identity here? Is it because of this type? I don't think so. Build coffee. Supposed to give coffee FA. Right. I think that sounds right. And UI handler. Oh, yeah. That's one of the issues right here, I think. Yeah. So here, the tuple of blah. Oh no, actually, it's not. No, that's fine actually. So it's about UI, but UI seems to be providing the right type. Type coffee cancer interpreter with type coffee cancer interpreter. Blah. Oh, so it is about the return type. Coffee cancer interpreter and oh blah, like tons of stuff afterwards. Instead of let's see what actually running a build give us. Actually want to do this here. Expected token. Okay. Maybe. So that are kind of in Purescript kernel fold. Okay. Didn't expect that. Source data kernel fold and 96. It's a token. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, there seems to be a whole bunch of stuff right after this for some reason. Okay. And I revealed. Did I commit that? I might have. Git status. I might need to turn that off. And cycle build. Okay, I might need to go into libraries and Purescript kernel fold and status that. Yeah, it looks like I did commit that weird thingy. Okay, So git add source, git commit fix mangled imports, exports, really they are, and push that. Okay, and then oh, build code free step of 0. What is that really what we want? Um, hmm. Remind me, build code free. I think that's the same thing. The build code free step. Hmm. Feels a bit like it's because of this type, to be honest. I'm wondering, so in the, we had a model somewhere in the other formulation, and that was here. We had counter model, and the component did unfold cofree. That did look better, like this two. So maybe we'll try to do that. But right, counter, it was counter interpreter of counter model. Okay, so yeah, that I think makes sense. So we shall import counter model. And decide to make the type of this be counter model, which means that this should be something such as a count. And so when we say add, okay, and then when we say count, okay, so I suppose maybe just count at count 1. How about that? Well, maybe. And then what? Oh, count int with int. Um, hmm. So hold on, if I just say this. Yeah, right. So indeed, not that. But here, however, counting with type int. But this is a row type instead of a record type, which is a bit strange. Now you want to match a row. So it's a type synonym. Okay, let's look at the full error message. It found a type for A, but not really a non-type. Maybe because there's wheres and things in here, so I suppose we can move step here and not have where. How's that? Well, I suppose we need to indent properly. Aha, hole A has the info type co-counter interpreter. T0. I like that. Oh, and we don't have a type error anymore. Ah, That's pretty good. So where was failing us here? It looks like for some reason. There was a really strange error with the row type. So what's right. So is our state 0 or is our state? So that might have been the problem actually. Um, hold on one second. Let's not accuse where when it could just be that here is count 0. And no. Okay, so maybe it is where. No, not like that. And like so. Takes an function that takes an s, which is step, which takes count, which is an int. Okay, so maybe it would be better if you took a counter model and then we bump that and then had count here. Yeah, I think so. So let's do that. Because I think also the type model line, right? Let's see again. S tuple A FS, yeah, and that's tuple A F. Oh, well, what's F there? If it gives you a co-free FA and what we want is a component counter interpreter. So I guess counter space or counter interpreter is the F. So here we're saying a tuple of counter interpreter. Counter interpreter, counter model, not just counter model. Okay, I'll take a little break here and I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay. So let's see where we're at. Uh, so if we have a hole of type co counter interpreter T0, and I suppose, well, I suppose we don't in practice care, uh, but in reality, probably counter interpreter. So let's make a value um, for that. I think we might have values for that already in our tests. Right. So okay. No, we have monadic values. We don't have comonadic values. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. But I think elsewhere, is it maybe count? Is it here? I try to make a monadic value from a comonadic value, and I remember succeeding in that. But maybe that wasn't here. It's just a val. I mean, that looks like yeah, that's actually, yeah, eval. I suppose eval could be seen as this, but I think there was another trick here. Can I remember the trick or what? Task, catalyst monad, right. I think I probably ended up not saving that thing. Okay, let's try and figure it out. Um, so one thing is that in theory, what we call a counter action is something like co of counter space. Yeah. So that's one thing, meaning this is actually counter action unit, but we don't need to even define that because it's really just about adding a core in front of counter space. So we could create a monadic action, and here do we want a monadic action or comonadic action? We want a comonadic action. We want a co-counter interpreter. Right, because we can use rat free to go under the free monad. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? Right, I think it means something like change count will be of type co-counter interpreter unit. It will be something like co of something returning uh, returning what? Mm-hmm. I think we're saying change count could go here, right? We might want to use increment, but it's the same for us right now. Okay, we still only have one hole for some reason. Is it actually saving? And let's just put change count here. But yeah, change count will take a we'll take an int or counter model. Let's make it take an int and count, and it will. Yeah, I think the idea here is that we're supposed to pattern match with change count, and then pass change count, pass the count to change count. But then also we get increment, and we just pass back increment. No, it's not exactly that. Ah, yeah, it's just change count, just change count, I think. We should be able to remove that and to just use change count, but with a number here. And let's do 1 for now. And what are we trying to match here? Right, we probably want the constructor, but then we'll probably want to put in parentheses, and then I mean, I'm sort of kind of inventing that right now. I think I should do this first, try to get that right. Whole B has insert type, counter interpreter of unit to blah. Okay, so counter interpreter of unit to 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 what? Hold on. Show me again the type. Counter interpreter of unit to blah. Right. So, okay. Counter interpreter of change count being something, and increment being another thing. Aha, to blah. Oh, yeah, right. So it is a function that takes a counter interpreter. And returns and so I was pretty close actually. It's just that my type is wrong. My type was wrong. And therefore this lambda is starting to look a little ridiculous, but maybe that's okay. Right, so therefore change count, instead of taking R0, takes a function from unit to R0. So that maybe? No. But that, okay, so return counter interpreter. Right, into, okay, Ah, we pass unit to it. But R then has escaped its scope. Is it because of this? No. Counter interpreter unit R to R. Or maybe we pass unit first and then count. No. Yeah, no, change count takes an int and then returns a function that's from unit to R0. So in theory, we just pass it unit, but maybe we don't. Ah. Hold on. Okay, let's go take a look at co. Yeah, that's the quantified. That's the R that's escaping its scope. Okay, let's put a type hole. And yeah, still escaping of scopes. Is it because I'm not parenthesizing this correctly somehow, or maybe I'm also. I mean, I'm only pattern matching for change count, but I think that makes sense, right? Or do I don't need to do this. I think I should be fine here. And then change count like that. Okay. Oh well. So maybe it was just a necessity thing. Yeah, it is. I just need a parenthesis here instead of a apply. Okay. So hold on. Does this compile? No. So is it because now we need because we really need counter model here, and then we need to do count and count, and then we need to do count 0. No, still not. Okay, what's going on here? It's S, right? Should take an S, and then this step should take an S, which it does. Then it should return that FS, not the tuple A FS, not counter model. So, and the F being co-free. No, the F being counter interpreter. Okay, so maybe we do counter interpreter, counter model. And we wrap this inside a counter interpreter. I mean, yeah, maybe. No, definitely not. No, maybe that's where we define eval. Maybe that's eval, and eval takes takes what? Eval is a counter interpreter of model. So it's a counter interpreter of counter model. And what does it take? Yeah, it does a change count, can do a change count. And it can, yeah, of course, that's it. That's why there was add count one. That's increment. Increment is actually add one. And while change count is take a count and return count C. And except this is count, right? Increment actually, no, increment returning an A. Yeah, no, I suppose that's possible, but we do have count being passed to us there. So we just say count is add one to count. Huh. But we need to then, oh, no, what's that? Oh, shadowed. Ah, yeah, okay. Should still work, but yeah, I suppose we, yeah, change count one should change our count to one. So such that when we do this, no, that still increments. Why would it increment instead of changing count? Or maybe we need to reload here. Okay, yeah, we need to rebuild, of course. Or repackage, Raspberry Pi, parcel, all the things. And yes, one. And if I say increment, well, we need to define an increment action here. Increment inc. Let's call this change so that it doesn't shadow, and then it would be inc, and then this would be increment, and then I think we just pass increment unit to increment, and now this is inc, and okay, tell me what. Yeah, no, of course. It just doesn't take an int. There we go. And I think we rebuilt already. And we increment. Oh yeah, excellent. So we're in good shape. I'm successfully implementing my monadic actions in terms of the interpreter without having to define action type independently. And I'm using this to call the monadic action, the monadic action with wrap free. There might be a better way to do that, but this is neat. I think this is actually fairly easy. There might be another sweet spot for that, but this is good. I get my eval, which is really also actually the kind of workhorse, so to speak. get my step. I mean, this is nice. So I think next we'll want to, well, maybe we'll keep a counter in here just to keep our sanity and have the counter case accounted for, but we'll also start to wire up the chronofold in the back. Excellent. So that's it for me. Thanks so much for watching. It's been Jun-chan, and we will see each other probably on Sunday. All right. Take care. Bye bye.